And you are live. So I'm expecting that they're expecting a totally different circumstance, but what you're expecting isn't going to happen because,
Oh, it
we're
never
not
does.
expecting what you expect. So never expect the unexpected until you expect what is expected. Then consider the unexpected. That's the only way it'll work.
Yep.
Welcome to the Life Boy. You know what? I've really got very few plans for this whole episode. The whole concept here is there's a channel called the Lifeboat. It is right here
Oh, you
somewhere.
meant we're live? We're live. Oh, my bad.
Yeah, we're live. Live. You're live. Congratulations. Yeah, no. Welcome to the show.
I forgot you said there's no intro.
Yeah, no intro. I said we're not playing in, so we can just go live. And then I went live, and now you're live. Congratulations.
Yeah.
So there's this channel called the Life, and I tuned into it about a week and a half ago. When did you tell me about it? About 2 weeks ago, roughly.
Roughly, yeah.
So I caught like 3 live streams, and it went from apparently treading water pretty good. I thought they had a good thing going on. I was really impressed. I didn't say anything at first. I was like, that's real neat. And they were like, we're going to start a thing. And I was like, cool, I'd help. And then they're like, nope, we're quitting. I was like, well, that's unfortunate. Seems like somebody should continue that type of work because it was a really good setup, a really good format. I really liked the way like the whole community just seemed to kind of stick together around not the idea, more the idea of getting clean
Right.
than it is the idea or helping more than anything else.
Correct.
Uh, just more of a social support kind of concept, more of a emotional type thing. Hey, her cat is 17 years old. You know that's Princess OPD because nobody else knows how old her cat is.
I do. She
Shh,
says
it's
it
a
or
secret.
not.
It's like secret password. It gets her in everywhere. But we blow at her cover. I still don't get no notification from her. I have no idea when she's live. I'm subbed. I got belled or nothing.
Me neither.
No idea. I kind of dug the pity parties. They were kind of fun sometimes, especially when it was snowing. You
Yeah.
know, the snow around. Just I don't get to see a lot of snow.
I don't get to see much snow either, so.
Hey, Leisure Seven, welcome to the show. Work line, everybody. This isn't our usual show. I'm gonna I have this you miss your online support.
Yes, leisure is from there, from the
Hey,
lifeboat.
uh, I'm doing like a recovery type show. Kind of, yeah. Kind of take a little bit of, I don't know. I just want to help, man. I don't know how to explain what it is I'm trying to do here. Uh, so basically, in the long run, I kind of hope to have call in setup done. I've set up all the apps and everything. I've got that done. I got to sit down with OBS and figure out how to do the stream in OBS without using StreamYards at all, so that I can use StreamYard to bring in additional guests. That's going to get tricky because anytime I activate StreamYard, it changes how my mic settings function. Not just the settings, but what the settings do. And so I can get my Zoom and Skype and all that stuff working
Mm-hmm.
in OBS, but it won't work into StreamYards after the fact. Maybe if I set them up beforehand or something, I'm not sure exactly what it's going to take. But I've been tinkering with it for a few weeks.
Phoenix says he can help.
Yeah, I've been chewing on
He's
OBS for about
stubborn, Phoenix,
8 months. He's a what to who for how many jelly beans?
Huh?
What? Who?
Oh, I was just telling him that you're a little stubborn. It'll
Oh, I'm
take
stubborn
you.
as a
Yeah.
fucking bull, son. Like it's not. I'm not going to argue with OBS and do it wrong. But what I am going to do is figure out how to do it once and then do it 37 different ways until I find the way that is either easiest or doesn't use as many resources. Because that's one cool thing about OBS is it tells you how much CPU it's using. You can keep track of that stuff. So like when I first set my show up, I was on borderline crashing. I had like 30-40% of my CPU being used because I was bringing in different windows for like entirely different carriage services, like whole new browsers to bring in the stuff I was doing.
Mm-hmm.
Right. And it was just kicking me out all the time. And now I've altered how all of that works. I can do all of it off of a laptop, and it's very kind of compact. Should be fairly easily transferable. Go ahead, go do that thing. You know you got things you got to go do. Oh, she got a new avatar. Look at her with her cool little avatar. All right. So anyway, it's basically an online support group, like Leisure Number Seven said. Uh, it's good to see you, Phoenix Rising, Work Lion. Who else here? I missed out on the start half. Let's back up a little bit. We'll do the gold and silver stuff. Why not? We got Work Line, who's got the gold. Get past all of that silliness. Al SoCal swung in. I wonder if he dropped me a like. That'd be cool. American Justice doesn't count. She's on the board. Legion, Princess OPD, then Legion number 7. That's everybody who has chatted so far, which is cool. I don't generally do a live stream on Tuesdays, and I haven't really planned out exactly what to do. I got a few little stupid things I set up to kind of keep people occupied though. I got a list of all the of 10 of the previous guests. Hey, Mama Nolan, good to see you. Set up in the duck race over here, and they're going to race over the next 3 minutes. I have MLH's documentary on the Forgotten, the homeless of Aurora and Denver, set up to view in the background. And after that, I do have a little bit of new footage I just put together. I've been 99 Insight. Yeah, man. Good to see you, brother. We're doing pretty good. We're kind of learning as we go on this one. At some point in time, I'm gonna throw a link in the I'm gonna put a link in the chat, and we'll go from there for the until I finish watching the Forgotten by Mexican Longhair, previous guest on the channel. We're pretty much just gonna kind of run through this like a normal little guest spot where I'm presenting a channel. In this case, Mexican Longhairs. He's pinned at the top of the chat. After that, I will put in the link, and I'm gonna take over the whole screen, and it'll be like an anonymous calling kind of concept. That later, hopefully, I'll be able to add in other methods of communication like Facebook and Zoom and Skype and whatever else the cool kids are using nowadays. And hopefully, it all works out in the long run. I mean, I really don't know what else to do. Hello, Sherry. Good to see you. Hi, ho. How did you know? Is it that obvious that I'm a hoe? Oh Lord. Okay. Well, I guess I can live with that. At least I'll get a tip. Seem to have lost my co-host over here. Not sure what to make of that. So we'll just go ahead and launch this thing. All right. So Mexican Longhair comes on about 6 months ago. We have this wonderful conversation backstage. He's actually quite the gentleman. Don't let that mustachioed uh, fella fool you. He's a nice guy. He's a real sweet dude. Him and Tom from An Abstract Look are both over there in Denver. Right, no, I get it. My daddy didn't raise no quitter either, but I had to quit myself, right? It's good to see you, Mr. Self Destruction. Did you I don't know. I don't know. That might be the same avatar. Looks a little different though. Maybe I'm just getting a better look at it. I have a little bit of a plan. I have pieces of a plan. I have the parts of a show. I have all the gears and gizmos necessary to make it work. What I don't have is a clear enough understanding exactly of how the sound interacts between OBS, YouTube, and StreamYards. I think part of my problem is using StreamYards at all. If I can get away from using StreamYards, I'll have a lot more freedom with what I can do with the formats. Because right now I'm kind of trapped in the StreamYard format of like overlay background, guest in little window, taking a small window over here and doing the thing with it. If I had access to the entire screen, I could bring in 6 or 10 different people and control everybody's audio independently. So, like when I have ATL in and he's coming in all super duper hot, like, 'cause you know how it is sometimes when he's in that foyer room where he does some of his, live streams,
Mhm.
it sounds like the air conditioner is just right there on his head. Uh, I'd be able to filter out some of that stuff before it has to go into the sound matrix, so, I mean, it's doable. Oh my.
Oh
I
my.
do a pretty good George Takei. You don't expect it looking at me, do you? Oh my. Oh, I'm gonna read, some of the Norse, mythologies. I've been looking for a good Norse, myth mythology book, and I found a few, but the audiobooks associated with them are kinda trash.
Mhm.
LibriVox available. So I'm gonna do try to do 2 stories a week, which will be 1 Norse and 1 Western. Uh, and hopefully I'll be able to get, like, at least 1 uploaded a week in the future. I don't know how well that's gonna work out, but we're gonna try. That's what I'm gonna try to do. That's the plan. 3 shows a week if it can be done, and 2 videos a week if possible. And then I'm gonna add my shorts back into that because the channel situation is a little different than it was before. I've got a little bit more room. I've got a little bit more equipment. I've got a little bit more stuff I can do. It is just cripplingly hot outside. So
Mhm.
until that breaks off, which may have happened today, I don't know. I haven't been out there yet. It's horrible out there. I just look at it through the windows. I'm like, outside's great. The graphics are amazing, but the interface sucks.
Mhm.
User interface is just trash. All right. Anyway, let's let this thing play. We'll jump into it whenever something occurs to us. And anybody that wants to join the stream whenever that opportunity pops up, we will. Like I said, I'll be taking over the whole screen, and it'll be sort of an anonymous voice in the night concept. We'll see how it works. I don't know. I'm as of yet undecided on any of this stuff. It's just pieces and parts, and we're doing what we can with what we got. So I hope it's good enough to suit somebody somewhere. It's the best I
Somebody.
can do right now. We're gonna let it roll. Down like super hot. Oh, wow, he's got ads. I forgot he's got monetized.
The word is out. Fairfax's
It's like we're watching an
is a
ad.
must-watch event.
They found me.
When did he
I
get
can't go
monetized?
back. Who the hell is this guy?
I had
You're
to
never
be
gonna
like,
see
really?
that man again.
You think you?
Well, no, I guess he could have been monetized longer than that. Yeah.
There is a growing problem in the United States: homelessness. For most of us, the basic necessities to live are taken for granted: food, water, shelter, clothes. What do you see when you think of the homeless? Do you see images of dirt, trash, or perhaps drugs and alcohol? Do you ever think about the reason why these people ended up in despair? Or do you believe what mainstream media shows and tells you? According to the National Alliance to End Homelessness, it was estimated in 2020 that the homeless population reached approximately 580,000. To put that in perspective, the city of Tucson, Arizona has a population of approximately 554,000. My name is Regan Benson. I'm a mother,
Hey, Mr.
a grandmother,
Self-Destruction, welcome to
a
the show.
wife, a homeless advocate. I've spent a
Hello,
lifetime
Megan.
fighting
Good to see
for
you.
the homeless and their right to survive with dignity. Join me as we begin to understand some of the reasons behind the despair. Hopefully, you will see that these people have feelings. They are people. They have names. They are the forgotten.
I really dig
This is
whole
where
thing.
Sarah currently resides, on the streets of Denver, between a tent and this camper. Hi, Sarah.
Hi,
Tell us how old you are.
I'm 43 years old.
How did you become homeless?
I had a stroke. I lost 3 paychecks and had to go to a safe house.
Mm.
Do you currently have any family?
I do. I have 3 children and 2 siblings and both parents.
Tell us what homelessness is like as a woman.
I would say it's a little harder for women than it is men out here because they assume, or the public assumes, either that we need something so bad that we will sell ourselves, or the men out here expect us to work harder than they do.
How have your experiences out here affected your mental health?
Hey,
I would
ATL, welcome to the
say
show,
that
brother. A little bit of a different scene here this week.
it's hard on anyone's mental health being in a situation they don't really want to be in. I think that moving all the time or looking over your shoulder all the time makes you have an anxiety disorder. I think it makes you have fears. I think that it's hard. I don't know. It's hard on anyone being in a situation they don't necessarily feel they have control over, even though most people are out here because they want to be free.
Do you have a substance abuse history that you care to share with us?
I would say that if you didn't before you were homeless, most end up with a substance abuse issue because it is hard on your mental health. A lot of people
Good on
just
you,
kind of
Megan.
want to run away from their feelings or how people,
I mean,
even more
it
so,
doesn't
oppress you.
matter.
You think you're going to be free, but you're really not.
All right. So when I became a junkie, I didn't become a junkie by way of just like jumping off in there and becoming a junkie. At no point in time did I ever decide I was just going to become a smack addict. That was never on the menu. The way it happened was I fooled around with a little bit of opiates before I became injured, and after the injury, it was just an unending cycle of destruction in my life. It ruined absolutely everything there was about me, with the exception of some of my closest family ties. And um, eventually, it became so much more difficult to be a junkie than to simply hurt. Just get over it. Hurt. Just, I would rather hurt every single day of my life than to deal with that anymore. I just can't do it. I don't have the heart, the ability to tolerate myself as that person any longer. It took a lot of changing things, not just me, not just making my own decisions, which was a large part of it. Um, One of the ways I try to explain it, nothing is the hardest thing I ever learned to do. I had to learn to not do something. Just don't. Don't do something else in place of it. Just don't do it. And that was hard. Once I figured that out, the rest became a little bit easier to deal with because once you're not using, once you're not drinking, once you're not doing that thing, whatever the addiction is, it can be most anything from sex to gambling to you know, an unhealthy lifestyle, whatever it is. Um, you have to choose. You know, they say one day at a time, but that's not really the way that works. It doesn't work one day at a time. It didn't work one day at a time for me. It had to be a smaller.
But that doesn't mean that it doesn't work
No,
just
no.
because it didn't work for you.
I'm just saying that it's a smaller increment of time at first.
Oh yeah,
At first,
sometimes it could be
just
second
1
by
minute.
second.
Yeah,
Yeah.
1 second. That's right. It's like, no, I'm not going to do it.
Mhm.
And it might be 30 seconds, a minute, 2 minutes, an hour later. But the
Mhm.
longer you practice this concept of not doing, the easier it becomes to sort of follow through with the not doing it.
Mhm.
It took time for you to develop the habit of doing these things. It will take time for you to develop a different habit because that's basically what you're doing. Only you're trying to substitute a deleterious habit for one that is self-fulfilling.
Healthy, right?
Right?
Well, I mean, doing drugs was self-fulfilling too. I mean, at the time, it was
Self.
just self-harm.
I don't know if that's any relation to Mr. Self-Destruction, but no, no shade, brother. I'm just saying, like, uh, and I hate to be the meme. I mean, I hate to do that thing and say those words, but and this is gonna sound really cheesy, and I'm sorry. I'm sorry it's so cheesy, but it's exactly what happened. So I got off smack. And I was sitting there about 3 weeks later. I'm still doing the sweats. I've still got the Manabi trots, and I'm sitting there on the back steps in the middle of the summer trying to get warm because I'm freezing, right?
Mhm. Mhm.
And I'm sitting there in the sun and I'm listening to some audiobook, probably H.P. Lovecraft, if I had to guess. And I dropped my phone and it went to a Jordan Peterson video. And I had just had this errant thought, like, okay, so I'm off smack. Now what the fuck do I do? Right?
Right.
Like, I'm not having like the immediate daily craving, the immediate craving all the time now. I can kind of function a little bit. What do I do? And it fell on a Jordan Peterson video and it said, clean up your room, pick up something heavy, do something for someone else. And I was like, please make that stop. He's very annoying.
Right.
But at the same time, it was kind of exactly what I needed to hear. Because it was from that I basically cleaned up my room, and then I
Mhm.
cleaned up my bathroom, then I cleaned up my house, then I cleaned up my finances, then I cleaned up my life, I cleaned up my friends. Because if you don't pair off some of your friends, you'll never get out from under it.
You
It'll
have to
just
change everything, people,
every,
places, and things. I mean, everything.
every, everything. It will be a brand new, totally different you,
Mhm.
and it's not because you change your morals. It's just that you
I'm
no
not gonna.
longer
Go
have
ahead.
the drive that completely debasing, degrading drive of addiction.
Right.
It will always be there, but you can.
I will always be an addict. Always.
Right, I will too.
It's just whether I choose to use or not is the question.
Right? Listen to Kermit, huh? Oh yeah, I can't do Kermit's voice. I never have been able to do Kermit's voice. We're going down there. I can't do it. Not one that I got. I've got like a pretty decent Snagglepuss. I got a couple of other ones. I could do a different decent Tigger, a decent Rodney Dangerfield, a decent Alex Jones, Mr. Snuffleupagus. Pretty spot on with him.
ATL, I was a functioning addict, although there really isn't such a thing. But
I like to
nobody
say
knew.
that every addict is a high functioning addict, and
But there's not.
every addict is absolutely the best. I was the bestest at it. I was really good at it.
Yeah.
And I'm not trying to glorify it at all. It was the most horrible experience I had in the entirety of my life. But
Mhm.
I mean, it takes dedication and ingenuity to get away with some of the shit I got away with
Right.
that I will never mention in polite company.
I
'Cause,
feel you.
I mean, it's just
I
it's
think part of, I mean, above being, getting addicted, I kept going because I could. I never got in trouble. I never, you know, when you go to meetings and stuff, you hear stories. Usually it's prison or the hospital, right? You know,
Right.
that made the, or, you know, that triggered them to quit or whatever. I didn't have none of that. You know, I never got in trouble. It was never, I never got in trouble. So I continued to do it because good. I mean, but it
Yeah.
just
No,
came to a point where it was like, I
look,
don't want to live this life.
our drugs always surprise you. That's
Mhm,
true. I
mhm,
got a buddy of mine who said it best I've ever heard it said. The chains of addiction are so light you don't know you're a prisoner until they're there.
mhm.
Right? You just don't realize it until one day you decide, "Oh, I'm not going to do it," but then you do it anyway.
Oh yeah. And for sure, yes, sugar is an addiction,
Sure.
nicotine's an addiction, anything that alters your state of mind.
Right. So, would you consider religion an addiction?
Sure, it could be.
How about that? I mean, it can't be a coincidence that the same type of people who, without religion, would be alcoholics and drug addicts
I
are
mean, when you
religious.
go to get
They-
sober, a lot of people find religion to
That's
be,
true.
you
That's
know.
true. That's very true. In fact, that's one of my complaints with the local AAs and NAs here. First of all, I'm in a very, very small town. There is nothing anonymous here. Nothing. Absolutely
Right.
nothing is anonymous. They all knew I was a junkie. Half of them owed me money. My first trip to the Narcotics Anonymous ended up with me getting paid back. Um, that I, that was impossible to explain. I donated half of it and left. I did. I hadn't seen most of these people in like over a year and
Mhm.
wasn't expecting to get paid back and signed all of that crap off. And I just happened to go in that day and they all happened to be there that day. Not one of them said a word. They just set money down next to me and left. And I was like, well, you were the one that screwed me. I figured, you can keep that. Right?
Yeah.
Hey, there's a lot of respect to be had for somebody who's willing to pay up for their own mistake, right?
Yeah.
So infinite respect for those guys. Much love. That's the real. That's real. That's real. You know,
Hmm.
it wasn't like I came there to collect some stuff. Nobody had any idea that I was coming. I wasn't supposed to be recognized. I'd gone there to not be recognized, and they just kind of went, "Oh well, we're trying to make amends, I guess." I'm like, "Not to other junkies. You're not. Just let that shit go, dude.
Hmm.
I'm here just like you. This is not a threat. I'm just hanging out." Did you ever? Do you do the Alcoholics Anonymous thing? Do you do the
I do.
program?
I go to NA.
Yeah.
Mhm.
Well, like I said, small towns. There's not a whole lot of choice around here.
Right.
So
Right.
your NA group. The issue I have with NA is you have these overbearing, litigious individuals who tend to end up in charge of these things, right?
Is
And
this
then
just
they
NA or you're talking about meetings, period?
specifically a couple of the local NA groups. When I say
Okay.
local, we're talking like within 60, 70 miles of where I'm at because there's not a whole lot around.
Okay.
Um, so there are two in particular that are controlled with an iron fist by a particular individual. And if they don't like you, you're just not going to be able to tolerate the level of ignorance that's
That's
going to be.
unfortunate.
It is unfortunate. And the Alcoholics Anonymous groups locally want to define themselves as different from an addiction. And that's
Yes,
good.
because it's legal.
Yeah, because what they're doing is legal. And I'm like, and so is what I was doing. I was doing
Mhm.
perfectly legal drugs just to an absurd degree.
Right. Right.
So I don't know how to break it to them that there is no difference when it comes down to the psychology of addiction, whether it's gambling, sex, or heroin. It's
Correct.
the same mechanism inside the brain,
Right.
and alcohol too. Um, I came across an interesting tidbit raising pups. Hey, MVTV, good to see you, brother. We used to breed dogs,
Can you
and
be
I
addicted to something you've never had?
no, if you haven't had it, you can't be addicted to it. You can want it real bad. You can have heard of it and
You could.
desired
What is the word I'm looking for?
predisposition.
I can't think of it. No, that's not what I was thinking.
Well, you can be predisposed to
Obsessed.
particular
Like when you
addiction.
obsess about
Oh,
something.
sure, yeah, you can be obsessed
Obsessive.
with something without it being an actual addiction. Like, you have certain OCD tics that appear to be addiction, but are not, like chewing your fingernails.
Mm.
You know anybody who chews their fingernails?
Ain't that more of a
It's a compulsive disorder, but addiction dips into the brain structure of compulsive disorder. Hey, Joe Cool, welcome to
happy
the show, buddy.
birthday to you?
You want to come
Happy
talk about
birthday
it?
to you?
I'll let
Happy
you up here. You
birthday
can
to
scream
Joe
at everybody.
Cool.
It'll be great.
Happy birthday to
I imagine you've
you.
probably done an absurd number of legal drugs too, though. So I don't think that's good, Joe. I'm proud of. Yes, I don't know how to take that. I mean, good Lord, man. It's the wrong meeting, dude. You're wanting the one down the hall. It's the rapper. It's the
It's the
haters.
second door to the left.
All right, let's let this roll on, man.
And I don't consider myself really homeless. I consider myself living off the grid. I would always say that that I just choose to live differently than most of society because either society failed me or I
Hey, Gypsy,
feel
welcome to
like
the
I
show,
failed
brother. Good to see
society.
you.
Have you attempted or completed any rehab programs for substance abuse issues?
Yes, I have, and I've also done therapy for years for not necessarily substance, but my self-abuse issues. Most of us out here have a vice, whether it be good or bad. We find something that keeps us going. You have to have something, I guess. Even when you feel society's given up on you or you've given up on yourself, to keep going every day, you have to find something.
Not all addicts look the same.
That's
Sir, do
true.
you have a criminal record, and if so, for what crimes?
Hello, Bones.
I would
Welcome to the
say I
show.
don't have a criminal record. Yes, I have been in trouble. I have tickets. I have an underage drinking ticket. I have saying fucked in public in Boulder. And I have a trespassing charge on the railroad tracks when I never even saw a sign for collecting rocks.
Oh my gosh.
I'm 43 years old. Most
What
people
is
out
that?
here have.
Say she
Yes.
was
She was
trespassing.
walking on the train tracks collecting rocks and got trespassed.
We got a spot down here on the train track called, next to a place where it goes across the river. It's just generally referred to as the trestle. There used to be a public boat ramp there ever since the Civil War. And when the railroad built through there, they kind of eminent domain or something, the public boat access, and now it's on their private property.
Mm-hmm.
But nobody pays that shit any attention. If you go put a wire across there, somebody's going to show up with a cutting torch, take that thing right out. They came in with these big industrial, like big steel pipe columns to try to put a big nasty cable across to keep people from going. Some asshole crackheads with a cutting torch went and cut the columns off and took them home.
Mm-hmm.
Took them to scrap, I guess, and then went fishing. Would be my guess. There is nothing on this world that will stop a very determined redneck with a tool truck. It's just not happening, dude. They will come right through a bank vault like butter.
Right.
Just let it happen, man. You can't stop them. There's nothing you can do. And that place is in the middle of nowhere too. Like there's nothing out there. Absolutely nothing out there but like a 60-mile-an-hour train. Be careful. I don't know why it comes through so fast. I don't think it's supposed to. That thing's god awful fast. A couple of years ago, it jumped the tracks back yonder, actually. I'm going to try to dig up some old footage of that.
I think he emailed it to you, Joko.
Actually, no, I didn't.
Well, you did. He was supposed
I did
to.
not, but I will. I will do so immediately. That will be the happening that's occurring right now. Let this play while I do it.
A criminal record for trespassing in some sort, because someone doesn't want you on their property or want you by their property or wants to say that you're impeding on their way of living.
So, do you feel you've been treated fairly by law enforcement as you're living homeless?
I would say yes and no. Depends on the law enforcement. Some are understanding. Some are shocked, especially seeing a girl. Some, I think it's more that they don't know how to take you, or they don't know what to say or how to be. And then there are those that are just controlling, just like in any empowerment.
All right, what she said about living differently, that she chose to be homeless or off the grid, as she put it. Like I've been saying all night, I'm very rural out here. I'm in a town less than around 50,000 people. That counts the whole county. Yeah, that's everybody. That's all of us. And so we all pretty well recognize each other on day-to-day businesses. So when it comes, and also it's very warm here, very warm, very wet. There's plenty of water. There's not really a need for shelter. You don't have to have shelter to survive. It just makes things more comfortable. There is a whole ecosystem of people that have never seen a census man.
Yeah.
These people live out there. They never come into town. They do not interact with local officials in any way. They've never heard of the term sovereign citizen and may have yet seen a cell phone.
Right.
Crazy. Y'all might think I'm nuts, but this is a thing. That's a thing. It's a real thing. Hold up, Joe. I'm trying to get. Hey, baby.
That was good, baby. What
Like
was
the
that?
video
Hey,
you
John,
put out
was up
yesterday.
there?
That shit was
Yeah.
sweet.
Hey,
You're gonna
baby.
like
What was you just saying? Somebody don't even know what a sovereign citizen is, and they
Yeah, no.
what?
There are people here in Georgia who have not, who are so far off the grid that they do not interact with the outside world. They're not Amish. They're just
Right.
really private people. They
In
have their
Georgia,
own.
you say?
Yes, sir. Yes, sir.
Does that have to be in a mountain, or can I picture a forester or something? I don't know.
Yeah, forest. In some cases, they actually live in the national forest. In some
Yeah.
cases, they live on private property that nobody actually knows.
All right, really? Like the Amish, it ain't no forest and
It's
all that. They got property, and they don't want motherfuckers on that property.
right. Unlike the Amish, the Amish live in a given spot. They own their stuff. They do their thing, and they don't bother anybody outside.
Yeah.
These people are more like feral people in the sense
Oh
of just
wow.
not being a part of modern society.
Right. Meaning they're like nomads, or maybe
Right.
that's the wrong word. They're on
Unlike
the move.
Moma, or they do not. They've never heard of the term sovereign citizens, but might identify that way if they found out what it was.
I figured that's where you was going with that shit.
Right.
These cats would naturally, it would be unfathomable to them when someone wants
Jack
to.
Black's Law might be the last book they got a hold to before they close the gate.
Wait, you think they got a hold of Black's Law? They're one step ahead of the game. Shit.
Oh, but yeah, that's true. I mean, almost
Right.
on sovereign citizen page, right? But no, what I'm getting at is when you look at a census of America, you're not looking at a true representation of how many people there are here. Most of the homeless, a lot of the homeless are completely uncounted. They're not just uncounted, but also forgotten. No one seems to care. No one takes time out of their day to actually help them. And then when they do, they almost seem to do it as if in disgust of society around them.
Yeah.
Right? Like,
Generally speaking, you know that the people in this house I'm in is this Otto Nam Crib and Eric, you know, they're the investigator. That's that Janet's Kitchen crew. You know,
right.
these people are gods when it comes to doing the homeless. They feed them every week. Still been doing it for years. We go give them like clothes and stuff during storms and do all sorts of outreach. These people here do amazing things for the homeless. In fact, when they started feeding them, they had to battle the stores over there on that mall, and they got up enough, pressured them enough where any store they came in there had to agree to sign a piece of paper saying they would allow them to feed the homeless once a week. It was so great.
Oh, that's beautiful, dude. That's
Yeah.
beautiful. One of the things that I used to think was really cool, and I never understood it, and I don't think they do it anymore. But when I was a kid, You used to be able to go into an IHOP, a Waffle House, or a Denny's and get a full waffle all the way for free once a day.
Really?
That went on for a long, long time. It partly had to do with the fact that they had to use up waffle doings, right? Because that stuff's always sitting around. And if you can't use it up, you have to throw it away. So they would let people come in and get
And that's
one
dope
waffle
promotion too,
all the
right?
way.
That's dope promotion.
Right.
I got a
Yeah.
free. Speaking of free, it's my birthday. The
Yeah, happy
dispensary,
birthday, brother. They
the
just told
dispensary gave me a free spliff.
all right, I hear you. It looks like it's doing you good work too.
Well, actually, you know, shit. I appreciate the dispensary. Oh shit, I'm dropping weed everywhere. But
Everything, Joe.
yeah, I appreciate them, but I'm on
Calm
top
down,
of it. But I'm on top of it.
I know I'm famous, but don't be getting all worked up like this, man. I'm just a normal guy.
No. Carl, no.
I might not be normal. Maybe not.
Maybe not a little bit normal.
A little bit, maybe.
Is there a topic? Will I be straying if I go to the Sasquatch shit? Yeah, I'm
straying a
straying.
little
You're
bit,
talking
but I
about
mean,
something. I'm sorry. All
I'm
right,
talking
all
about
right.
addiction in
All
general,
right.
the
I'm sorry.
relationship,
Let's talk about addiction. Well, next time
homelessness.
you see me though, I want to.
Yes, sir. Oh yeah.
Saw some video on that shit. I want to talk to you about.
I've been just on a quick aside. I've been putting suspects for Dogman and Sasquatch on my channel under the suspects list of creatures that might be it. Anyway, go ahead. I'm sorry.
Yeah, I could go about that forever. The addiction shit, that's what caught my attention anyway. So I just stopped getting high and selling drugs. I was selling and using since I was been a teenager. Different shit off and on. And last shit I was on was heroin. I just got off. I just did 7 months house arrest and probation. When I got off probation, I started cop watching. So relatively recently, I just stopped doing drugs. I guess I don't know, 4 years at the most.
I've been 4 years myself.
How many years?
4.
Right on. I was
actually I'm in my 5th year now. It was 4 years, May 23rd.
It could be 5 for me.
45 days.
No,
Proud
you
of
lying.
No,
she's serious.
45 days.
Listen, I don't want to be really prying, but alcohol or drugs.
Meth.
Very good. That shit ain't designed to get off of.
No, it ain't.
Good. Very good.
He's right.
Bless you.
No, I agree. I did it. I mean, I'm 40 years old. I did it for 23 years.
Yeah. Same here. I was in high school blowing and shit. My friends like, holy fuck, Joe, you do hard drugs. I didn't know you get high.
Right.
But this shit forever, bro.
Hey, did you just drop a white boy voice? Can I hear it again?
No.
That was great.
It was unconscious. If I try it again, I'll suck. It was unconscious.
I'll let it go. But that was great. You need to work on that.
Right.
Become voiceover some parts of a book or something. It'll be awesome.
Can I ask? Listen, this is weird, but in my neighborhood, and we are drug central and have been my entire life, I've never even seen meth. So I wouldn't. Yeah, I've never, not in real life, and I've sold drugs my entire life.
That's interesting.
Yeah, because we got crack and it's so cheap. I think nobody ever thought they had to get meth in my neighborhood. But what's the process for getting off? I had to go to. Well, I didn't have to, but I went to the place. What is that? The program. Methadone got me off and all that. What's the progress for meth? I don't even know if it fuck with your body.
I mean,
how
everybody's
addictive it is.
different. So
yeah, I have no idea.
I know people who had to do like the methadone and stuff like that.
Methadone will work for that.
Suboxone.
So it's just like getting off of heroin then.
Yes, exactly. Yes.
Ultimately, the addiction is the same because it's the oxytocin and the serotonin that you're addicted to, not the drug itself.
Mm-hmm.
I think we lost Joe. Pretty sure he froze. Yeah, there you go.
I froze. I don't know what the fuck that was.
I thought you were giving me the eat shit look, dude.
I got 2 phones out here. I'm good. I done found my way back home, bro. I got Wi-Fi, data. I done found my way back here. Shit.
That look though was great. It was excellent. Like I said, you looked straight through my soul, brother. I was like, wait a second. He's frozen. Nobody has that much.
Nobody has that intensity.
I know, leisure, and it's killing people. That fentanyl is killing people.
No, fentanyl's a whole nother ballgame. Fentanyl's one of the reasons why I got clean when I did.
But
Me
they're
as well.
mixing it
Me
with
as
all
well.
kinds
That's
of
why our
shit.
timing was the same. I got off of because of fentanyl too. I'm sorry, H.I.
No, you're good. I mean that they're putting it in Xanax. They're putting it everywhere.
Yeah, I heard even weed. Someone said that. I don't know if it's true, but I heard that once.
Well, consider this: the same people that ship drugs also ship weed to non-legal states. So there's no reason to think
that why they
wouldn't necessarily. Yeah, no. I mean, I can't purchase that shit at a dispensary here. So if anybody's smoking weed, they're getting it through illicit means still. So these people sell drugs. There's no reason to think that fentanyl might not end up in some weed occasionally.
I get Mexican dirt weed. I never know what the hell I'm smoking. So
maybe he'll be back in a second, but at least he's not staring through my soul this time.
That was a little freaky.
That last one made me feel bad. I was like, "What did I say?"
I'm switching the data. It might click one more time because that might be. I'm out here in a desert. That could be the internet I'm hooked up to.
Yeah, sure.
Oh yeah, it's all these purists and naturalists. There's a movement toward using no, I don't know, what would you call them, chemicals and all of that bullshit. And people have been growing, for years now, personally. So there is a network where, where you can move around and you're pretty sure that you're not, unless they found a way around that. It just, a lot, you got a lot of home growers in Colorado and California, and they've been doing it for years, and they take it so serious.
So serious.
It'd be shocking if someone got a chemical into their shit without them knowing.
Yeah, that's true. But I wasn't speaking about
when did that start happening in MVTV? Because I know, at least in Texas, they weren't making it over the counter.
Here in Georgia for a while, you could walk into any pharmacy anywhere and say you need some Narcan, and they'd just hand it to you in a bag. They'd scan it. Well, I mean, they check your ID and give it to you.
You can get it like that. I got it. I didn't have to get do nothing special for it.
I don't know that it still happens that way. I remember having a conversation with a bunch of junkies one night, and they were discussing where they get their Narcan from. That was right after I got clean. I had no business being there.
I was at my doctor's office talking about something else. Hey, Hippie.
Good to see you,
and I told him what I do. I filmed the cops and shit and was telling him about all the overdoses. And I forgot how it happened. I think he gave me someone number, or he just told me to go up front or something. And he gave me a thing of Narcan. Like you should keep it with you because I run up on a lot of overdoses.
Right. No, I don't. I have not seen an overdose in 9 years.
Oh, I done had
that one survived.
Quite a few friends die from that.
I've had a few die, but I didn't walk in on them. I was in no position to be able to do anything.
I got a video up, early video when I was just started, like 6 weeks in, and one of my buddies that we had just reunited when I started filming, and he OD'd on my porch. He was coming over. I told him I'd come talk to him, and on the way up my alley, he blew some of that shit, had that fentanyl on it. He OD'd on my porch. And he swore he was going to be done, blah, blah, blah. He cleaned up. One of my other friends took him in, let him stay with him. He cleaned up, gave him a job. Then I don't know, about a year ago, or less, I saw my friend. He told me that he died at his house when he went to work. The guy had snuck some drugs in, did him, and OD and died in his house.
It's amazing how often that happens. They get clean for a little while, and when they go back, they
use the same amount they were using, and
It crush you, right? Let me ask you, do you guys have desires? Because I've been fortunate as fuck. I don't want a pill. I don't want no parts of that
All right.
shit.
I was specifically addicted to pain pills. I was on
That's
oxys and you know,
so will
um,
you have
That too.
cravings for that shit?
when I end up in a position where I've been working real hard for several hours and I see that I'm not going to be able to finish it today, there'll be a part of my brain that winds out that's like, if you had one of those pills, you'd just finish that shit and then go to bed.
What about
I'll be
you,
like,
AJ?
yeah, cracky, you need to stop fucking talking to me, mother. If you guys taking the goddamn quarter, stop talking. You don't get to make decisions no more. Go sit down.
Hmm.
That's what I tell my junkie man. I kick him out of the conversation. We don't talk to him no more.
Right. AJ, do you still crave?
I don't
Amen.
crave it anymore, but it's still my first train of thought when I'm in a
Yeah.
situation.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
No,
Like
I still
want to
get that.
go,
Yeah.
I want to go use, but it's not a craving anymore. But I will
Yeah.
tell you, I make sure that I am not in the situation because I know
Right.
if I was in a room, you know what I mean, or if it was even just handed to me, I would do it in a heartbeat. I just would.
Oh, I'm lucky. Yeah, when I
I'm
stopped
not.
and
Yeah,
cleaned
I'm
up,
not there yet.
many people brought me, like thousands of grams pre-packaged and everything. It's like, come on, Joe, I know you're ready to get back in. And I didn't do that. But I got a buddy that's been clean longer than me. And he's like, he craves all the time. He has to have a meeting and shit. He got his own meeting. He goes to meeting every day still, years
Every day.
later.
Yeah,
That's
I
so
know people like
scary.
Mm-hmm.
that is terrifying. When I was
But
sitting in those meetings and I was listening to some of those folks, and I was like, "Yeah, I done that. Yeah, I done that. No, I never done that. Never done that. All right, now why don't you just sit on the other side of the table and keep talking and don't get
ATL.
offended."
So, yes, the answer is just yes. There were people in my life that was like that, and I had to get rid of everybody,
oh
whether
yeah,
they
yeah,
and
yeah,
and
yeah.
family included. I mean, it.
But you know what? You really ain't got to worry about it because when you stop getting high, they cut you loose anyway. 90% of the people you fuck with were just codependent what they can get out of you.
Yep, exactly. Hey, hippie, I appreciate you throwing links, man. I might be the only YouTuber on the net that has wandering hippie working.
Right.
Well,
Putting in that good work.
I got him working. He just don't throw links. I got him throwing something else.
Oh well, you just keep slinging that shit for Joe. And I don't even want to know what the fuck you're talking about. Y'all have a nice, lovely evening with that. That's none of my
Hey,
fucking business, bro.
hey, me and Hippie troll each other hard.
I know. I love looking at that shit in the comments, man. It's hilarious.
He
Hilarious.
troll each
I
other
haven't looked
hard.
at it in a minute. I've been busy, but
Oh man, I walk into his room. I smell Hippie. Is that e-bagging frauditor and all that shit? Is that e-bagging Joe Cool fucking frauditor? But hey, I don't want to stray. I'm about to stray. I love people with a sense of humor. I just wanted to say, right? It makes my life so easy when you don't have to worry about a bunch of sensitive motherfuckers that, how dare you? Why did you say that? Did you say that to so and so? You know, my day goes a lot smoother by a bunch of sensitive Karen
You
types.
74?
Yeah.
word for that shit. Hey, Axiom, welcome to the show, brother. Good to see
Did you
you.
say? Wait, maybe I didn't hear you right.
Bones.
Ah,
74 years old, huh, bud? I gotta admit, you look
Like
pretty
for real?
goddamn good for
Like
70.
that's not a joke. Like you look young. I mean,
Bones,
Hey,
you
motherfucker,
stupid, bro.
you're not 74.
no, he's 45.
No, I am 84
Yeah,
years
you wish you
old.
were. No, you're not.
You might feel 84, brother. Smoking all that
I
shit,
do.
you
I'm
might even think
55
you're
today.
84.
I'm 55 today.
You go, brother. I hear you.
Right on.
Mhm.
We
But
all
I
be
prefer to joke, man. I get older.
No, you're good. I was
I
about
get
to say,
older
you know,
every
usually
fucking
the
day.
drugs make you look older, but dang, it did a number. It made you look younger. That's all I was
Well, thank you for that, man. Shit.
He's your ninja. Be careful. Don't be dropping that hard R. You know how the British say it, right? Ninja.
Shit. Midton was good, baby.
It's good to see you, Axiom.
I don't
No,
know if
you
Midton
guys
still
have
cop
fun.
watch. but Midton don't even have legs, like from the knees down or something. And he got artificial legs. He used to be out there cop watching. That's how I met him. He'd be out there holding the police accountable like that. I'm
He
like,
hardcore,
wow.
dude.
Yeah, you hardcore, bro.
about the Flint water situation. He's got a handful of early videos up involving the Flint water pipes. About
Okay. Yeah.
I got in touch with him, asking him if he had any updates about it. I'd like to do a show on his channel, and I thought that would be a pretty good tie-in to the general weirdness of my channel. You know.
Yeah. Fuck yes, it would be. Do you do conspiratorial shit? You know what I'm saying? Because that would tie into your channel. You say, "Oh gosh, yes."
If it brings him a show, he'll do it or talk about it
in
or
everything,
whatever.
Right.
I'm interested.
That's good.
What's up, Truth Be Told?
Hey, Truth. Welcome to the show, brother. If you can teach me something, I'm interested to learn it. You know.
Yes. And here's something else about you. You have zero ego. Zero. Because the shit I do, if you have an ego, I'd have triggered you a long time. You know, you probably noticed I triggered everyone.
No, I can explain that. Let me explain that.
Okay, yeah.
There are old trolls and there are bold trolls, but there are no old bold trolls.
Damn.
I'm an old troll, son.
That's dope. No old bold trolls, though.
No, they're all gone, son.
That's dope. Right, so
trigger me. No ego?
He's got no fucking ego. You know, he doesn't get offended. Some people get offended when you're talking to someone 3 people down the panel, and someone way over there might get offended. You can say shit to dude, or I can say shit to his best friend, and he'll laugh because he'll know the intent, and it'll be funny to him the way I intended it funny. But if that person's a snowflake, you know, I might be kicked out of their room or something. They take some shit the wrong way.
Let me explain that part too. See, the way a Sasquatch hydrates is in snowflake tears. And I drink Haterade every day.
That's how y'all hydrate.
It's good. It's good.
I had a visual of, you know, a Bigfoot holding on to one of their faces, you know. I had the visual popped in.
Out there. No, I'm serious. I'm a full believer in let your haters be your motivators.
Yeah.
Everybody who says you can't do it, they're fucking lying.
Living your best life. Living your best life day to day and giving them nothing to feed on.
If that involves tapering off over the course of 2 years, that's what it takes.
Yeah, whatever it takes.
Chaining yourself to a bed and having somebody bring you food every other day and make sure you're still. That's what it takes.
Hey, do you know, I remember seeing Starsky and Hutch as a kid. I knew nothing about heroin at that time. I knew, I forget which one, which was on drugs. One of them had did it on a sting and got hooked. I think it was Starsky and Hutch. And Hutch locked him in a fucking room above the bar, and he would come bring him shit and unlock it. And he was in there for a few days. And he feel better, ready to catch some bad guys.
Just a couple days, right?
I thought, yes. So I thought for a long time that's what you had to do to get off of drugs, bro. Lock yourself in a room for a couple days.
That's what I did, Joe. That's exactly what I did. I'm not even joking. I'm not exaggerating.
And so did you have to have a friend, or you managed to pull it off by yourself?
I have a wife, and I locked my door and chained myself to my toilet, basically. And I sat in my room and had seizures.
How long does that shit take, bro?
I would say till I could tolerate my cravings myself, about 3 weeks. It took about 21 days, roughly.
Can I ask you, you didn't want to medicate?
Oh, dear God. Here's the thing. I tried to taper. I don't have the self-control to do that. That sounds nuts coming from somebody.
What about me? Options, you know, Suboxone or methadone. Would that help? I don't know.
Methadone was just another way to get me off, dude.
Yeah, but you tapered the methadone. That worked. That's how I got off taping.
Yeah, but a lot of people get addicted to that too.
Right. You still have the self-control to
check this out. My little methadone story. I think those places are meant to keep you on. When I went, they told me they gonna keep me on this shit for 5-6 years before I can even ask to get off. Right. And I was like, no, I'm not trading drugs. You cats are insane. I go through the program and all of that shit. I'm in there for a couple weeks, few weeks, and said, okay. I told him I started at 140. I said, I want to start going down. So you can't do that. You can't do that. Long story short, I had to see 3 doctors, go against medical advice, and they had to let me go down. And since I was serious, they was letting me. I was going down 5 a week in the beginning, and when it hurt, I'd slow down for that week. And all of those counselors at some point, because I smoked cigars outside, they'd come outside and catch me and be like, congratulations, this is beautiful what you're doing. And I asked, I don't push this shit. It should be mandatory. You shouldn't trade a drug for a drug.
I agree.
I think they're making these guys into dopies, bro. It's so easy to go down, you won't feel it. Even if you're on there for 3 years and you were going down there a milligram a day, you're off. You look up and you're off.
True.
And you don't even feel it. What's a fucking milligram?
I got one for you. I got a buddy of mine that's also a YouTuber on a channel called My Benzo Hell. He got off of crack, got off of smack, got off of meth, could not kick benzos. The benzos caused him to have seizures because he didn't have them. And after he killed him twice, he finally said, okay, I'm going to taper, and I'm going to do it just the way the doctor says. He had a whole plan laid out and couldn't do it.
The taper shit didn't work, huh?
When I started getting clean, when I first got off, I was watching his channel and watching the problems he was going through with it. And so far over the past few years, when I'd fall off the wagon, he'd be clean and talk me through it. When he'd fall off the wagon, I'd be clean and talk him through it. And it's a weird thing because he only goes online. He only does his show like noon his time, which is like 4 a.m. here or something.
But you still managed to catch his
ATL, benzos are not Valium.
Benzos are like
Valium is a benzo, but benzos are more than just Valiums.
Yes.
Benzos include Xanax,
lorazepam,
benzodiazepines of various descriptions. So a Valium is a benzo, but benzos are not just Valium.
Well, and he said benzos are Valium, right? No.
Yeah, Valiums are benzos. You just
but that's not what he said.
Kind of like Chevy cars and cars are being Chevy. All Durangos may be Chevys, but not all Chevys are Durangos, and Durangos Dodge. So that was a bad fucking so-and-so.
Fuck that one up out the gate, huh? All right.
Yeah,
let's try this again. All El Caminos are Chevys, but not all Chevys.
All Chevys are El Caminos. Thank you for the correction, South Charge. Yeah. Yes.
Actually working out. Hey, hook me up with a cup of coffee. Summoning the wife squad.
My wife doesn't. Let's guess she would have done with her friend.
Okay, so I want to discuss one more topic on drugs before we go to the whole homelessness and mental illness aspect.
Yeah.
All right. So last time I got locked up, when I went in there, they did a pill call, and there was not a single inmate in that facility that did not show up for pill call.
Right.
They even called me to the door and asked me if I was supposed to be taking anything. And I was like, "Nah, I'm nuts on my own, man." Oh, you'll love this.
Wait, well, most of those pills for drug addiction, I'm assuming.
I don't know about all of them, but
not all of them. I'm just assuming
majority. Guys I was sitting with were prescribed trazodone.
I'm on trazodone.
Or like
that just sounds strong. I don't even know what it is, but it just sounds strong.
It is. It's kind of a. It can be. It depends on whether you're a normal person or you got a fucked up brain. But if you got a fucked up brain, it won't hardly affect you at all.
It's a non-narcotic.
It is a non-narcotic, but it's also an antipsychotic. So, I mean, if you don't have at least some imbalance, it'll
fuck
knock
you up.
Out, put you in a fucking coma. Like normal people get put down by that shit, honey.
Right.
They can, yes.
Yeah.
And like you hear, like sometimes, sure, but no, you don't understand. We are abnormal.
I do understand.
We are abnormal.
Yeah.
Keep switching. It'll be fine. Just let it go. Just.
I'm trying to remember the one they put me on when I first went in, and I could
Tramadol.
not. What?
Tramadol.
No. Tramadol.
I got a
No,
buddy
that's the
take
pain med.
tramadol. It's a pain pill. Yeah.
No, it's an agonist. It's not actually narcotic.
Um,
It's hard to explain, but what it does is aggravate the living shit out of your opiate receptors instead of actually sticking to them. If you do opiates after getting tramadol in your system, sometimes it can trigger an overdose-like reaction.
Yeah.
But it doesn't actually kill you typically because it's not really opiates. You just feel really sick and bad and crappy and vomit everything up, shit all over yourself. It's horrible. It's really bad. I don't like it.
I had a buddy who swears by tramadol. Well, now he's
It
hooked on
works for him,
heroin.
great.
He's hooked on heroin now, so maybe it didn't work out too great.
Well, I mean, if it works, it's great. If it doesn't
Yes.
work, I don't know what to tell you.
Yeah, he took all the pain pills. They wouldn't work. He found that. I'm thinking he's great, and he did it for a long time. One little tiny ass pill,
No,
and
true.
then I went back to Chicago, and a guy asked me for $10 and said he was dope sick.
Tramadol is an opiate agonist. It's not an actual opiate. It turns up if you're testing for a wide band of opiates. It can pop in a P test, but for the most
Interesting.
part, it, like I said, annoys the opiate receptors more than it actually binds with them. I don't know. I can't take them. Every time I've ever been given tramadol, it immediately just made me sick. I don't know if
Really?
Oh wow!
them
See,
or
that's
what.
morphine. I never could do morphine.
Right,
It just
Yeah.
didn't affect me.
right. You're right.
the
I
last
used to
time I
have
got
to take a
locked up,
lot of morphine too. It was not really
every
a big
single
deal.
person in there was on something. Do you think that's a common circumstance throughout the United States?
I
think-
do. I know it is. In my county, they have 2 medicine calls a day.
Oh wow!
Yeah.
I didn't stick around that long. They let me out. That motherfucker. I left. I wasn't visiting. When I left, I walked up to the desk sergeant. I said, "Hey man, you know how the desk is always like real tall, so you can't crawl over it." The guy walking me to the desk wasn't standing real close to
Oh
me.
yeah,
So
yeah, yeah.
out there, I hopped up and hung my elbow on the desk so I could look at him eye to eye. And I said, "Hey man, I gotta tell you something. This is the worst fucking hotel I've ever been in. There was no toilet paper, no turn down service, no broom service. The damn wake up
That's
call was 2
funny.
hours late. My door was locked all night. I didn't even get a key card for it. And quite frankly, the room service sucks. What do you think about that?" Home cuz twitches. His eye
yeah.
twitches. And I got to give him credit for a stone face. His eye twitches. He goes, and he goes, leans back and goes, "Hey, Deborah, this motherfucker says he's going to leave us a bad Yelp review." And then
That's
I
pretty
left.
good. That's pretty good.
I wasn't interested in staying there. It was a bad
That's
crowd.
fun.
I
I
got another.
used, yeah,
Every single time I've been arrested, I've had to have the cups cut off of me.
really?
I don't know why. They just break on me for some reason.
I
The
didn't
key
know
breaks
that
on
was
me,
even
they
a
gotta cut 'em off.
thing.
I know it's weird.
Probably some Sasquatch power we don't know about yet.
Oh, dear God, that sucks. That's a horrible power. Have them cut off. Did you ever had a set of cups cut off of you? Well, let me tell you, they get a little upset whenever you use your little broken hip ability to stick through the cuffs and hand them out to them. Be like, look, these things are jammed. They don't like it. You know, because they're supposed to be tight enough that you can't step through them and get them in front of you.
Yeah.
I can in most cases.
I've seen people do it, especially chicks. They do it all the time.
Oh, yeah, sure. I'm a pretty big dude. I'm 202
Yeah,
pounds.
you should not be able to
Big
do
fella.
it. Yeah.
I just kind of dislocate my shoulders a little bit, get me that extra half inch and get my foot through.
That Lethal Weapon
What's up,
shit. I don't know.
Bigfoot?
Remember Lethal Weapon did that
I
shit
know.
to get out of a straitjacket.
I don't know if I can get out of a straitjacket. The right company, I might be willing to try though.
Mhm. Yeah. I'll give it a shot. I'm down with you.
Bigfoot welcome to the swamp. Oh wait, that ain't right. Welcome to the show. How you doing? You familiar with him?
Same thing. Who?
Bigfoot Anon. My man's a movie star.
I've seen. No, I know. No, I think I've seen the name. But I
Go
can't
check out Void Cat. He starred in Void Cat, one of the best movies on YouTube. All 16 minutes of it. It's fucking great, dude. He plays the zonked out, like trance dude, shoots his buddy right in the back, and the way he does it is so casual. It's fucking great, dude. I'm trying to get the whole crew on for a show. I've been picking at all of them in their comments.
Hold on.
I've got one agreement, but it's good stuff. Nothing terrible.
I'm Oh shit! I was listening to some Yellow Wolf.
Hey man, I've managed to make it this far without a copyright claim. I wonder how far we can make it. I
What's the
don't
name
care.
of the? What's
Uh,
the
uh,
name of
The Void Cat is the name of the movie.
the Void Cat?
The Void Cat. It's a 16-minute long short film, and I can't even tell you what it's about because it's so short. If I tell you, it'll blow it.
It popped up, so it must be on here.
Yeah, it's good.
All right, I see it.
If I can get them on, I'd like to show it.
I clicked on it, so it should stay on my library till I get off.
What's
here.
the other guy, Bigfoot? Chaos Theory Productions is one of the other guys involved in it, and there's
Bye,
another.
Hippie.
What's that?
Hippie's leaving.
Bye, Hippie. Thank you for working for me.
Easy.
You're working your way to becoming a mod god there, brother. I'll put in a good word with the people I know. I'll tell you what. I'll tell Ted Turner he can.
Seroquel. I have.
Seroquel.
Oh man.
You want Seroquel?
No. That's what they put me on at first, and that shit, I cannot do it. No.
Seroquel has its
How
own.
anybody functions on Seroquel, I don't get it.
Dude, I'm telling you, Seroquel. You take Seroquel, there's a shuffle named after it. It's that shuffle you
30 minutes.
Yeah,
about
like
30 minutes later, you better be near a bed. Yes,
like you're alcohol drunk. Yeah.
Kinda. It's worse, dude.
No. I'm not saying the high is just the shuffle you're talking about.
Yeah.
I got it. You don't. It don't fix drunkenness. It don't cure you if you like alcohol. It don't cure it if you like heroin. It doesn't cure that shit. But it has its own place where it takes you. That's I can equate it to being drunk,
like
kind of. You'll miss time.
Yeah.
It's really bad, bro.
That last time I got arrested. No, not the last time. The one before. I went to bed one night. I took half a Xanax bar. I went to bed.
Yeah.
I woke up having rear-ended some chick that was apparently on some type. Listen now. This gets absurd. This gets ridiculous. All right, so I rear-ended this chick. Cops show up, and at first they don't know what to do. Joe, these police officers who know I'm fucked up as a field rat can't seem to figure out what to do about a common accident in the middle of an intersection. They just seem frozen until more cops show up, and finally somebody with some bars shows up. And they're like, hey, get all this stuff up out of here. Let's get this squared away. Turns out I had rear-ended someone who was on some type of a undercover type thing that was going on, and they couldn't report it immediately. And so there was some issues going on, and I had no fucking clue. I was just like, somebody throw
blowing their steam up.
Right? I don't know what the fuck. I never could figure it out. But when I left that place, all right. So first of all, small town. This is another one of those small town moments. Small town. When I rear-ended the chick, the guy that was parked next to me was my pop's mechanic, and he was in a truck. So like, I rolled down the window. Was, hey, dude, can you get this piece of shit out of the road? He's like, sure. The cops finally clear the accident. He backs up, gets my truck. It disappears. They want to know where my truck went. I'm like, fuck, I don't know. I'm fucked up. I couldn't tell you.
Damn.
They're like, who took your truck? Don't know. Some random guy who's really nice. Later that night, I went and hopped this fence, went and got all my fucking papers and shit out the damn truck.
Yeah.
The note was like, thank you, dude. Appreciate it.
Right. Oh, wow. That's crazy.
The insurance company decided that shit was totaled, but they never saw it.
Lucky dog.
They wanted to try to total my truck. Damn thing had like a piece of plastic pushed in the grill. There wasn't nothing else.
Right.
That was it. The hitch on the truck I rear-ended.
What's that basically?
Into my damn radiator. Hole in it.
Oh, wow.
What happened. That was it.
Wow.
Yeah. That was pretty cool. Now I got a new bumper, and my truck looks like a stormtrooper.
Yeah.
It's pretty cool. Hey, Authority Check. Welcome to the show, brother. New Guru. Good to see you.
That's good, AC. Guru. Pleasure always.
But everybody ain't got it on the wrong setting, do I? No, that's straight. All
right. Guru is that cat I go to for peace, right? Guru is the adult. Okay, he's the adult in the room. Guru is
everywhere.
And it's nice to have that because I am a badass kid. I'll be pushing niggas' buttons and shit on purpose.
Oh
You
yeah,
catch
no, I
an
love it.
attitude, I catch an
I love it.
attitude.
There's too
Yeah.
many sensitive motherfuckers in this world. Goddamn, get their panties out the motherfucking twat and get on with their lives, man. These motherfuckers
Right.
all goddamn turned up just because somebody said something. Dude,
Yes.
if you went to school with me, brother, I
Yeah.
was one of 7 white kids in a black school. You know, they talk about segregation having taken place in the 50s. That shit didn't swing on my town till like the mid-90s. Like, we
Right.
didn't get real white representation on the downside of town until later on. And it was a literal luck of the draw that had my ass.
That's hilarious.
I ain't
But-
even found that shit out till later
But
on.
listen.
So I was like 19, and I was like, "What you mean I was experimental? Man, fuck all you motherfuckers. I got my ass whooped every single fucking day for 10 goddamn years till I snapped and put a motherfucker in the hospital with a math book.
Math
They
books.
stopped fucking with me.
Yeah.
That's
they-
somebody still calls me sir in speech with a fucking speech impediment. Bitch got a stutter. And I'm not proud of it. It was not my best moment, but the fact was I was done. I was
Yeah.
hospitalized and anybody touched me after that. And I
Yeah,
broke
yeah.
fingers and I injured
Yeah.
people after that. I just would not take it. And it didn't matter if there was 1 or 35. Don't matter. Every single one of y'all is going to have to beat me individually, damn it.
Mhm.
Might be the way to go. I
Small
hear
town, limited number.
I hear the bully wants to be friends after you knock him around a little bit.
Oh, it's not, me and Otis Griner, we ended up actually being pretty good buddies after all that happened.
That's what they say.
And though respect, that's what it took, was respect. Just the realization that you're going to have to work for it every single time. No more free rides, buddy.
Joe is so fucked up right now. He's
I
all
love
it. I am really
Shorts out of this. It's going to be awesome.
all
right. Okay, so there's definitely a over medication problem in the prisons. Absolutely.
I would think so, yeah. But that just reflects society as a whole. It's not like these guys are going there and saying, being diagnosed and then put on these medications. These are people who were previously probably in the
That woman
world.
wasn't asking to diagnose me. She asked me what I wanted. What do you want? I was like, life. Bitch, I'm high on life. I wasn't on anything. I was clean at that point in time, dude. I got this is the stupidity. Remember, they couldn't report the accident because my fucking license, my fucking the chick was on some type of a fucking sting or some shit. I don't know what was going on. They didn't report the accident. I didn't have my license revoked, but they took the physical copy of my license. So later, when I get arrested and I'm in there all sober as a fucking judge, Joe, sober and arrested for DUI. Anyway, so my ass is in there arrested for DUI. They can't figure out what to charge me with because the computer will not pull up driving on a suspended license for me. It just
All you had to do was say, I want to blow. I want to blow into the machine.
I'm sure you do want
we did that, and the charges were dropped and all that shit. I'm just saying, like, when it come down to it, and they tried to figure out why it was they couldn't charge me with driving on a suspended license. It was because they forgot to suspend my license. It took me another 3 months of going to all the fucking Department of fucking Driver Services here until I got the big one up in Dublin over there, where they were like, "Oh, well, you have a license. We just need to replace it."
What's up, John Eagle?
And I was like, "Give me my fucking license back right now. I'm driving home."
I had to go through something similar like that. It took months, and I had to go to different DMVs, and caused such a scene. It's crazy. Yeah, they created 2 files for me, so I couldn't clear my shit up because I had 2 files, and even though I cleared one up, the other one then popped up with a bunch of shit on it. It was just a mess, bro. I had went back a bunch of times.
Yeah. And these people couldn't figure out what the problem was. And I went and explained it to a dude. And they eventually brought me into a little office back behind where all you go for the driver stuff. And you stand there and you have to wait with all of the peons and stuff. They have offices. Took me to an office, set me down, was like, "Look, we can't figure out what the problem here is. It says you have a license that is perfectly valid. Do you want us to replace it? Or do you want us to revoke it so that you can replace it legally?" And I was like, "What's the difference?" He's like, "About $385. I was like, All right. So let me get this straight. Y'all fucked up. And because y'all fucked
Yeah, I
up,
want me to
I have
pay.
to pay you. So in order for you to fix your fuck up, I have to pay you to revoke my license so I can pay you to get them back so that it can be all legal and square. He said, as far as I can tell, you've already been without your license long enough for that I can just click it away, and it's a done thing. Even the points will come immediately off the license because it was done on this date. It just never happened in the system. So you've already done everything. You don't have to, none of that. None of that. I was like, okay.
And that's the $385 option.
Yeah, fuck it. That's the only one I got, because otherwise they're going to come knocking on my door saying, hey, some of this shit never happened. Now we have to revoke your license. You know how this shit works.
I do. And
IFO or something, they're going to come and check on it.
And
You
even
get
before that, you need to be taking them niggas to court. Even before that, for inconveniencing you without on that driver's license.
Yes,
shit.
sir. I agree. And,
problem.
if that had happened 6 months ago, we'd be burning their asses down. But at the time, I was like freshly off drugs, freshly clean. Wasn't exactly sure
Yeah,
how
I was sheep back
I
then.
was.
Yeah, I was sheep back then, bro. I was
Exactly.
same way. Yeah. Yeah.
You know, a lot of people say that smoking pot makes you paranoid. But the fact is, there are a bunch of 3-letter agencies out there whose job it is to fucking stop you. That's not paranoia, bro. That's fact.
Yeah.
So,
besides,
But it does make some people paranoid.
Okay, sure. I'm just saying.
Smoke more indica. That's what I got to tell you. Everybody be like, I can't smoke weed. It makes you paranoid. I was like, you ain't smoked since the 80s and 90s, huh? It's a new generation. Go to any shop, tell me give you a low indica, and in 20 minutes, motherfucker, you won't have no problems. Your woman, you won't yelling at you 2 feet away. Won't even bother you, man. Motherfucker. Tow truck be out there taking your car. You be like, oh, come on, man. Be nice.
Hey, man.
Right.
All for y'all, baby. Like, if y'all got stuff to talk about, hey, John Eagle, welcome to the show. Y'all got stuff y'all want to talk about?
I saw John earlier today.
Joe is conversant on most things I've brought up, which is impressive. Usually I confuse people. I'll bring up some esoterica bullshit, and I'm like, you ever heard of this? Joe's like, yep.
I'll converse on anything, bro.
He can at least speak intelligently on it. I don't know how much experience he has with it.
Right. Unfortunately, I have way too much experience with this shit.
Okay. So I was informed not long ago that I was homeless. I was unaware, right? I didn't know.
You kind of like you didn't know your license was missing.
So just hear me out. I was working for a company.
We love you too.
Built off-grid cabins for hunters, like way off the grid. Right. So I'd go into a place with a trailer full of lumber, some battery operated.
So they build them from scratch, not no prefab shit.
Yeah, no prefab shit. I'd roll in that bitch with a nail gun and some time. And we build you a fucking house out there. Dig you a well, because we in the swamp. It ain't that far.
Look at you.
And I didn't have a roof over my head until I built one.
Hold on, I'm finna send my girl.
It occurred to me later. I asked somebody, I'm like, I've been doing this for like a year and a half now. Does that make me hopeless? Like, okay, you got fired tomorrow. I said, I can't fire me. I'm the only one that really does this. Like when they have problems with
at least you got job security, right? You may be homeless, but at least you got job security.
How many people do you know can go to a hardware store with a list, load up everything, and drive out into 60 miles into the middle of nowhere with a chainsaw and saws off some power tools and some doings?
I work on homes, so I do a lot of shit that's outside of my abilities all the time. I got a vision when you said that shit of, I don't know, fucking I don't know, some jack what do you call a lumberjack dude.
That's not far off the mark, man. You're not far away from it.
You gotta have, I mean, I know what that shit's like, man, because you gotta scrape the foundation, you gotta dig, you gotta know how to do fucking carpentry and all.
Shovel and a 4-wheeler.
Man, you digging by hand? You know how hard that shit is?
Yes, I do. I know exactly how hard that shit
I know.
Exactly. Man, we a red clay corn country over here, man. We can build a
Uh,
brick bat just by patting it together, leave it in the fucking
I
sun.
know, right? Wetting it don't help it. It just make that motherfucker hard as fuck.
I'm not just bounces, dude. You got to dig a post hole around this motherfucker. You better bring a Maddox. You better have you a grubbing hoe, dude. I ain't joking. If you don't got
Right.
some African backhoes, you are not getting into it. It ain't happening.
It's the same thing here. We're in a desert. If I go outside and
Yeah.
reach
It's
down
rock.
and pick up the soil, it'll be sand, and not even dirt. It's literally sand. Digging a fence hole in that, we just had to put up a fence around a chicken coop, and
Yeah.
the sand compacts after about 4 inches. It gets harder and harder. It's compacted now, man. You better have some type of device.
Yeah, you gotta have
Shit. Hole dig or something.
device. You need tools and shit. Yeah.
Right.
I get it. I get it. See, here we're about 200 foot from bedrock, right? So we're like 25 feet from groundwater at the deepest. So like you can hand run a well with little more than a small electric pump and some dewey.
Right. That's pretty nice, bro. That's pretty
It
fun.
is. And here's the thing is because of the fact that we have so much rain and it is such a wet environment,
Yeah.
you don't have a problem with like bad water and stuff.
Oh, that's really impressive because I'm out here in Colorado. They
Yeah, I've
kill
heard
for a well. They kill for a well, but
3,000 feet. Yeah.
even when you do have one, you still have to get one of those reverse osmosis doohickeys, or you can't drink it. It's just water. It's not ready for use.
Yeah, it's not potable. Here, you can poke it at the ground, flush it real good, stand there and pump that so much like crazy for about 3 hours. Just run that shit out till you got the spring running.
I've seen people do that shit, pump, and they can drink that shit. Yeah, I ain't seen one of those in a long time.
Oh, they fucking sell them everywhere, dude. Around here, you go to most any general store in Georgia, there'll be one sitting on the fucking shelf somewhere. Small one and a tall one, probably.
Right.
Talking
different sizes, manufacturers.
Yeah, well, it comes down to a home pump versus a cattle pump. So if you had like a shop or somewhere you have pigs or whatnot, you'd want the big one.
Those hunting lodges, this is a little bit different. You probably could go from making hunting lodges if you're still healthy enough to those little homes, little tiny homes.
Yeah,
and shit. Everybody
I've
wants
actually
those.
got an idea. I've got a plan in the future, and I don't want to get into it too much because it has no nuts and bolts. Unlike this show, which has all the nuts and bolts here, I haven't built it yet. The little house project, I don't even have the nuts and bolts on it yet, but I've got a multi-step thing I'm going to try to pull off. If I can get the Amigo that I want to get, I still haven't talked to the chick. I just don't want to be told no. I get that. I've got a trailer and some other doings that I already own. I'm just going to go put it all together and see what I have of it. And then I may very well do exactly that thing that I said and grab me one of those store-bought sheds and drag it out there. And then straight up build a Viking roundhouse or something. I don't know. I'm not sure what I'm going to do on that end. But I had considered filming the full
that'd be smart.
Property, putting in all the insulation,
You
drying.
gotta do that, man. Don't consider it. You have to do it. Do a time lapse. Take your time. Do it right. I'm thinking of a guy who does car washes like that. And he probably got 250,000, 500,000 subscribers. He's, making a living off of that shit. All he does is film himself washing cars in time lapse. Can you imagine you building some shit from scratch? Nigga, I'd watch.
Yeah, I mean, I never really thought about it, but yeah, I guess so.
Yeah, it's time lapse. You ever see those guys go out in the woods somewhere in fucking Bangladesh, Indonesia or something?
Yeah, I love those channels.
And build a house up out the ground.
Did you ever see
everything?
Do you remember the original channel that did that? Primitive Technology?
Oh, I don't know what channel I watched.
The original,
but I watched it for a long time.
He was about a 25-year-old law student or an engineer or something. And one day he decides to go on vacation and he took his camera with him. And he filmed himself building some little hut out in the middle of nowhere, wherever the hell he was at. And then he went home. And for months and months and months, the footage just sat over there. And one day he discovered YouTube and was like, "Oh, I'll upload it to YouTube." History was made that day. Million copycat channels that all have a million subscribers apiece, and they're all doing the same thing.
I'm telling you, man, there's some cats in Bangladesh. They're popular as fuck, and they don't even have shoes and tools and shit. I imagine the YouTube money that they get.
Never forget you. No way. You're my favorite turd. I wouldn't shit you. I wouldn't dare. I'm sorry. Mr. Self-Destruction comes from probably the second most toxic chat that I'm aware of. He
right. All right, crackhead is good at digging holes.
Oh yeah, no, I'm not even sure how it was that he ended up over here. I'm just glad to see, because I've been trying to steal Cogsog for a while, and they've demonetized Cog so much. He's on his 35th freaking channel or something. I lost track about 10 channels ago. I don't know how many channels he's had. But the whole reason I started my show was because Cog showed me his backstage one day. I was like fucking with him in the chat, and he put his camera on his computer, and I went, I know what that is. I can do that. Here we are.
Right.
I'm doing that thing. Only I don't seem to be having nearly the trouble he is.
All right.
He has targets though. I don't have targets. I have a totally different philosophy here.
Yes. If you buy targets, if you mean go after people, and that's what the show is built on.
Yeah, pretty much. I mean, he laughs at people on the internet. I just laugh at people on the internet. It's a little. I like promoting channels. I like trying to give people that are trying to do good work a chance to do the good work.
Yeah, I do that shit, and I gotta say, I laugh at motherfuckers on the internet.
That's a lie.
But with them, I might, sig on them and laugh, give them a hard time, break their balls, like. I'll do that shit, but nothing.
Here in Georgia,
for real.
we call it needling, and we don't need anybody we don't like.
Yeah, we might say jabbing them. Man, I was just jugging, man. Jugging.
Hey, Jock, yo duck looks sick.
What?
Yo duck is a vampire.
I can't believe it. That's sexual. I don't know what he means, but that's the euphemism for sexual. I guarantee you. Some sexual act. I guarantee
no, I mean the duck on the screen, Cracker. Look.
Okay.
She got phased and shit. You didn't get it. You ain't been a guest on the show.
Is that my wife in there? Is this current?
This is current. Yeah, this is currently happening. Yes.
My wife is in here?
No. How would that be?
Phoenix.
No. That's from Phoenix Rising. She hasn't been a guest on the show either. Right. That's how you get the duck race.
Fuck?
I got to do an episode on you getting the duck race.
I got my other phone. I should send my girl here. Yeah, I'm gonna do that.
Do whatever.
So Cool was so fucked up. He had to turn off that camera. He didn't want us to sit there and watch him go like this anymore.
He nodded. That must be some good shit.
Yeah, I'm laid back now. It's not attractive. It's not appealing.
You're good, brother. I mean, that's what this is all about, really.
Where is your link?
3 cheers for self-sufficiency topics. Yes, I agree on that 100%. I'm a firm believer in self-sufficiency to a point. No one.
What the hell does that mean, ATL? Crackhead's good for digging holes?
I don't know, but it's funny. Yeah.
They are good at digging holes.
Either way you look at it.
No matter how you look at it, he's right. They've got experience with the rocks and can dig a hole for themselves.
In my neighborhood, you can't get a job because crackheads do it for $25, whatever it is. Shit. Mow the lawn, build your back porch, $25. They gonna fuck them, come back tomorrow and need $25.
Here's the thing, it's still the wood off the last back porch you built.
Yeah, and if any leftover wood, if any materials out there is at risk, aluminum. Yeah.
Oh, I love jackleg carpenters, man. Half of my work used to be coming in and fixing stuff other people had done in a weird way.
Yeah.
Half the time it wasn't wrong. It was just somebody from up north not used to the carpentry down here. Didn't like look. I got
Had a guy had a back porch built, and he paid well for it. And then the inspector come and tell him they didn't use the right shit. He had to tear it down, pay twice because they didn't use the right bolts or whatever. A porch had collapsed in Chicago, and they came up with new standards. And
Right.
apparently these guys didn't know about it. It looked good. It looked sturdy as fuck to me. It looked great. It was wide, and it didn't pass inspection. They had to tear it down. Like, fuck, that had to hurt. I watched them build it. I was out there fucking with them and shit.
See, that's when the contractor would call me up, send me over there, see if there was anything I could throw in there that would satisfy the inspection.
That's what I said. It wasn't even salvageable. Yeah,
It's
I'm
like
definitely
this. A lot of times when it fails inspection like that, it's due to lack of support. Come in and throw some freaking angle iron in that motherfucker. You got support.
Yeah.
Congratulations, you just satisfied inspection.
Right. I remember reading some of the new standards, and they calls for L brackets and a certain size bolt and shit, which the guy hadn't used. I asked if you could just put the proper bolts in, and would it pass? He was like, no. They said I got to take it down.
I think they were just being a dick. I can't tell you how many times I was called and told, hey, that's not, and it wasn't for my work. They would call me to fix something that had already been finished. And,
right.
You know,
Ain't no way I couldn't
like,
figure out a way to salvage it. Right.
You know, I read the inspection manuals and stuff.
I used to bring houses up to Section 8, so I would go in and know if they failed inspection. I'd be like, yeah, over something simple like your handrails were in the wrong place, your smoke detectors in the wrong place. You got to have all the eyes working. The cover under the refrigerator had a grill on there. Everybody got failed on that. Didn't think of that. The smoke detector can only be 3 inches from the ceiling. All these
hardest
rules
ones I've had to deal with. We had this one trailer over here in Trailer Park when I was working maintenance for that guy, and there was this one trailer that everybody broke into. Like every crackhead in the neighborhood knew how to jimmy it. And he came to me one day and was like, "Hey man, you reckon you can stop people from getting in that trailer? I can't rent it.
Wow.
Lock the door." So I replaced the door. Very first night, crackhead got into it with a screwdriver.
Right.
Very first night, brand new door.
Right.
All right. So I went online and looked at various methods.
Wait. Let me interrupt you. I'm thinking crackhead cannot be stopped. That's what my head is, but you continue.
Right? I agree. So what I did, I made like, you know how you would take a credit card, slide it into a lock,
Yeah.
I made a shield to keep that from happening.
Right.
Big flat thing and bolted it.
I've seen them on there now. It's a real thing. I've seen them.
Yeah. I went and handmade one of those to put on that door. And as far as I know, if you lock yourself out that bitch, you stuck.
Right.
Like I got called a few months later after they rented the place. It was like, we locked the key inside. I was like, tough shit.
Oh.
Y'all might want to call a locksmith. You ain't getting in that bitch without a cutting torch. It ain't happening.
Damn. Wow.
All right. So we've dealt with addiction. We've talked a little bit about homelessness. I really don't have a whole lot of experience on that front. I know that you are linked in some cases, not always.
Often. Yeah, they are.
Yeah. People who end up homeless often develop an addiction, and people who have an addiction often end up homeless. My next question comes down to the mental health aspect of it.
Right.
All of these events are very traumatic to a person's life. The addiction, the stress, the homelessness, all of these issues.
Yeah.
Usually these people end up unemployed.
Right.
And even if they are employed, it's under very stressful circumstances. And I believe that all of this leads to a mental health issue that is virtually unexplored by the system at large.
And check this out. I do a lot of shit with the homeless. I don't know if you do enough to have a thought on this, but the individual homeless that you see, those have more mental health issues. I had a girl who deals with that, and they'll come to her place and she gives them different, I don't know what you would call it, services. But the places where there are communities, there is less of that. the places where there are communities, everybody plays a role. Someone's security, someone's the gadget man, someone has all the wires and shit to charge your phone, someone has a generator, and you don't see it. And those people are a lot more happier, at least they appear happier. They invite you in and they're content. Those type of people, I don't give a fuck if you don't have a job, you're not mentally fucked up, you just like your freedom. Help those people. Shit, man. I had one guy tell me, he was like, uh, I was married, had a family, I've been to the military or went to the service. I had a job doing this and that. I had a career. I've been to jail for X amount of years. And I've been homeless, I think he said 4 years now or something. He said, by far, this is the greatest thing ever. I should have done it. I suggest everybody do it for at least 6 months. You've never experienced freedom. I mean, not just satisfied. Some of these cats are thrilled and wouldn't have it any other way. It's not my job to say, well, how come he won't get a job? He don't even want a job.
That's what I was getting at, saying that there's a lot of people down here that have never met the senses, man. They don't do that, Joe. So some of these guys have an old blacksmith forge sitting out in the middle of nowhere, and they fix things that need fixing from the previous century. You need an old Hera hammered together and fixed. Okay, to this guy.
What are you saying? The homeless people have skills?
Well, first of all, yes.
Okay.
Yes, homeless people have skills.
I mean, I know, but they can put
here,
them to use. What I'm talking
very
about.
rural.
Yeah.
Remember this. So when we discuss homeless, we might be having slightly different conversations.
I'm picturing living in a tent city in LA or Denver, you know, that shit.
I have that. That's not the way it happens here.
Okay.
Here, there's enough open space that you go find a corner of somebody somewhere. And
yeah, that's crazy.
They don't say nothing about it.
Crazy.
That's what I mean when I say rural homeless. They're homeless only in the sense that they don't live in a house.
Right.
You know, they have a place, they go there, they live there, they do everything everybody else does. And then there's another layer of it. The people that don't interact with the outside world in the sense that they don't have a cell phone, they don't register to vote, they're probably not in the draft. I mean, these people never come out.
I got friends who do the first thing, where they believe it's okay to just go. If you can find a property where ain't nobody gonna fuck with you, you know, you sit down and you build, just start your structure there. But I don't know if I know anyone who probably wouldn't, because they're not on YouTube, anyone who just doesn't fuck with society, the internet, and all of that bullshit.
All right, I got a perfect example. Where I lived out there with my pops is at the end of a road that used to be a connection between two roads, and since then they built a better road. This road has a creek in the middle of it that washed out the road, and now it is not a through road. It is the end of the world as far as you know it.
Right.
It doesn't go anywhere except to my pop's house. Okay.
Right.
So there are some people that live on that road a little bit before you get to Pop's house. There are two groups of these territory that live back there. There's 385 acres of swamp, woodland, and just virgin territory. As far as I know. I haven't been out there in about 10 years, but it's still just untouched wilderness. There's maybe 60, 70 people that live out there, 10 or 12 families. There are a group of 5 that are chosen to go to town. They go to town, they get stuff, they do the things that are needed in town. If repairs are needed, they take whatever it is that needs repairing to town.
So I'm guessing the town is aware. Do they know the numbers there? And does someone who lives in that at the end of that area, like your pop, will he see them more often, or will you only see the 5?
I lived out there for 22 years. I'm familiar with them, that they exist largely because I was canoeing the same creeks that border their property.
Right.
So I would see them. Hi, how you doing? Recognize them. As far as knowing their names or who they are or any of that, they're less than
That's still impressive, though. That's still impressive. That's pretty fucking cool, bro.
They didn't go to school on the school bus. They were all all 4 or 5 of the families that's back there. As far as I know, only the elders of those families actually interact in town.
That is crazy.
It sounds crazy.
Well, you remember that movie where some guy had talked an entire I don't know what you call it, Village. It was called The Village, was the name of the movie. Into believing that they were back in the past era.
Yeah, it was
And
M. Night Shyamalan movie.
M. Night Shyamalan, yes, they had them fenced off, and they would scare them. If you go too far into the woods, you die.
I see
Uh,
white.
yeah, that dude. And somebody jumped the gate and saw that it was modern era and all that bullshit. Pretty,
Yeah, it's
interesting.
a good movie.
Yeah.
This is more along the lines of a very stern family, matriarchal family.
Yeah.
One man and 3 women go into town when it happens. They always take this weird old like Cadillac truck. It's like
Okay. Yeah.
I don't even know what kind. It might not be a particular kind. They may have just built it. I don't know.
Yeah.
They have all the necessary paperwork.
Right. Tools and skills and everything.
Only one that drives that I'm aware of. They do not meet visitors. I got lost once. I was really drunk and I went out to go find a campsite where I'd left my wallet, and I was hammered. Had no business being out there in the woods that far. Got misplaced a little bit and walked up kind of their backyard in their little area over yonder. And the very first person that saw me said, "Stand right there," and walked away. And then this old lady came over and said, "Are you lost?" I was like, "I'm a little misplaced where I'm at now." I was like, "I'll just walk back into the woods and go home if you don't mind." It's just right over here. I just missed a little bit. I followed the wrong street. My bad.
So do they seem polite, or do they seem skittish or anything?
No, they are just as congenial as the next person. They do have a bit of a deeper accent, much deeper than mine. But that's
you're so country. I can barely understand a word you're saying.
Yeah, and I'm fairly well spoken.
I'm kidding. I'm absolutely kidding. I understand every word you say.
Yeah, you keep thinking that, Joe. People underestimate me every day because of my stupid accent. Oh, you sound like a moron. You must be a moron. Keep thinking that shit, buddy.
When I was a kid, man, biggest insult you had for a kid growing up in Chicago was to call him country. No, country. Well, that's a country ass nigga.
All country.
Man, you country.
You country as hell. It's just the pot calling the kettle black.
It's just the same. But I tell you, when rap music came along, and those country motherfuckers started, blowing up and shit, it was just like a love fest. I'm so glad that shit is over with, that bullshit, man. And now, country motherfucker, king of the South and all that. We love those fuckers like they're our children now.
Oh yeah. What do you think about some of these country rappers that's been happening recently?
I probably don't like any. I'm gonna say that, but if I'm being honest, people have showed me one or two where I was like, yes, it was good. But I hate the idea of country and country rap and all that. I hate the idea. I don't like country. I'll be saying I like all kinds of music, but I have an aversion to country, bro. I just do. Like, some people hate hip hop. I got friends, they don't call it rap music, they call it hip hop. Oh my God, I hate that hip hop music. That's how I feel about country music, man. And there are some I can remember. I probably like the gay shit that you don't like. Like I remember Shania Twain had a song or two I like. There've been songs that I like, but most of them, as soon as the guy, I went down on farm, it just crushes.
You know what the great part about a country song is? If you play it backwards, it's reggae.
I would have thought rock and roll, but
you get your dog back, your woman comes back.
Oh, right.
It's a much cooler song if you play it back.
I've heard that before. You get your house back, your wife, your dog.
Everything's fine at the end of the song. That's reggae,
but
right?
Yeah, you're happy as fuck. Yeah. Be happy. Fuck.
I can't stand the steel guitar.
I think I know what that sounds like. I don't know. I might be thinking of a banjo.
2 cats in one bag. It's
wow.
horrible. I would rather listen to bagpipes.
Oh, that's pretty bad, right?
Hey, no, man. Listen, somebody knows what they're doing with bagpipes. Totally different ball game. Yeah.
Really, because I've taken the time to listen, and I'm thinking this shit's horrible.
All right, so I have a Scotch-Irish heritage. Right?
Okay.
I've grown up with a little bit of bagpipe music in my history to start with.
Yeah.
So on my honeymoon, me and my wife go to this island off the coast, and we're out there in the beach house having us a good old time. We get shit faced, pass out, wake up the next morning at the ass crack of dawn. There's some cracker dressed up in full Highland regalia playing bagpipes at dawn.
And that
And I got
means
my drunk
skirt,
ass out bed. It's
kilt.
full kilt,
Yeah.
bonnet, the whole nine, dude. I'm talking.
Wow.
Yes. I wake up, I hear it, and Rachel's like, "What the hell is that?" And I said, "Outlawed tunes on outlawed pipes." And I got up, got my pint, stumbled my drunk ass down the stairs out to the beach until I found that asshole playing the bagpipes at dawn. I stood there and listened to him because they were really cool.
What the fuck is an outlaw something on an outlaw
Oh,
pipe?
outlawed tunes on outlawed pipes is a quote from Braveheart.
Okay.
And during the rule of Edward Longshanks, they outlawed the bagpipe and all of the music played on bagpipes to try to eliminate Scottish and Scotsmen.
Yeah.
They also initiated prima nocta, knocking up all the Scottish.
Yes, well, I'm a fan of prima nocta. Yeah, I'm a fan of prima nocta. Yeah, I'm royalty, so I'm okay with it.
You Kangs, that's good.
Yeah, I think there's a YouTube rule for that shit. When people get married, if you got more than 50,000 subs, you get to bang the wife first. Pretty sure that's a YouTube rule.
You might be on the wrong channel.
No, read the fine print. It's a rule. 50,000.
I don't care how fine that print is. I ain't reading. What kind of game you play? Oh boy, you better hope I don't get that goddamn amigo because I'm gonna come fuck with all of y'all motherfuckers in person.
Holy fuck, Sasquatch, was that you showing me that gun?
Dude, this thing is maybe 90 horsepower. I can't wait.
Somebody was showing me a gun yesterday, wasn't you? They have, maybe you're familiar with this, they have pellet guns now, and they can take down real game with them. They shoot 22 size bullets and all of that shit, 50 cows.
Dude,
air guns.
There are full-size hunting guns. Hold on.
I saw some of the game. I saw a guy bringing down some pig with them. And I mean, instantly, they just drop.
Hold up. There's a particular channel that covers all of that stuff. I've been trying to get them to come on the show, and they're one of those agree to it.
Couple automatics too, man. That are these guns that are automatics. Pretty impressive. They got little round magazines. You pop them in, and you can dump magazines in the shit. They break cinder block. They hit so fucking hard.
Oh yeah, dude. They're full on. I mean, full on hunting. Right?
Yeah,
it comes down to.
Yeah, the big ones. Oh man, you can take down nice game. He was telling me you could take down big game.
Yeah, no, I know. On this channel, I'm looking for these people hunt deer, mule deer, and moose and elk and shit with air rifles. Like no bullshit.
Did you say excuse me, Sasha, you say you're out of cigarettes?
No, it's well,
I can't help you. Would you stop working like that? Jesus. Weird. Every now and then my mouse will get stuck in like roll mode, and it'll just decide that wherever I move, I'm going to change the screen over here. Can't remember. It was air rifle. What was it? Anyway, it's a thing that's been fairly popular in like the UK and whatnot for a minute. What's up, IRAP? I was actually going to try to raid your live stream if you were still live after this. I've got you.
All right, I'm back.
Background screens over here.
That's my girl pressuring me for sex, man. I'm sorry.
God damn, Joe, I'm talking over here. You just gonna walk in?
Yeah, I'm rude like that, you know.
No, it's good. Go ahead. I'm fucking with you, man.
That was my wife pressuring me for sex, man. I told her, babe, we can do that shit anytime. But
3 times a day is enough. I am not.
I sound like fuck. It's only like 5, man. All right, what'd you find, man?
These folks over here in Georgia air hunting with.
They're clearly feeling squeezed by the rising costs.
Senator Raphael Warnock.
I want to talk to you. There we go.
With Iraq veteran 8888.
Yes.
Today we got a real special video for you.
wow.
This is a hunting video.
Yeah.
All right. We don't get to do a lot of these, but it's been really, really fun
Cool,
over
that
this
sound
last,
down a little bit, so
several
we can talk
months,
over it.
trying to get some footage for you using the
Good to
Air
see
Force
you,
Air
Iraq.
Guns Texan. All right. This is a
I'll wrap
45
on
caliber air rifle, uses 458 diameter projectiles. The projectile that we're running out of this thing is a Nielsen 290 grain solid lead. Okay, with a hollow point.
Yeah, look at that. That is a 22 bullet, fellas.
I was about to say, what's that
I don't
equivalent
care how you
to?
cut it. That is a hollow point 22.
You
At this
think I think it's even bigger. I think it'd be even bigger than 22, 25 or something. Oh, it is 22?
Something like that.
I know it was very popular in them guns. It's a 22, but that looks a little bigger to me.
It could be. I don't really have any scale there, but I think a 22 is like 1.25, 0.125.
Okay, I don't know the grade.
0.177. They also come in like 0.218 or something like a little bit bigger.
And if they are 22, they're not shaped anything like a 22. These motherfuckers are shaped 22 are usually long and skinny. These things look like dum-dums.
There's no, it's not a firearm. There's no charge.
Primer and all that shit. Yeah. Even with the fucking bullet, it looks so fat, right? I mean, I'd be thinking 25 at least. I want to say something like a 40 or something. It looks really big to me.
It's not that big. They're just really close.
All right.
Tell you what, mute this, let it play, and it'll give you an idea. You see? Oh, maybe 45. Damn, that is pretty big. Damn. Okay. Yeah, that's almost definitely a 45. All right, my bad. I guess I should watch another few seconds of video. That's what I like about Joe. He catch me slipping. Herbie right under the bus. He all right with it.
All right.
But anyway, homie's got this this big ass jug on the back end of his gun here, which makes it, I guess, California compliant because that's not a stock. What's weird is California made an attempt to try to equate certain air guns, and they may have succeeded. I'm not sure about this. Certain air guns to be registered like firearms.
I was waiting on that. I thought that was a way to circumvent it.
Well, it will be for a long time. I mean, they're still trying to. They only recently just made certain types of air guns illegal in Australia.
Right. Oh, wow.
To do gun control here is that every single person has had a firearm handed down to them at some point. You know what I'm saying? Right. If anybody has any sort of family that's been here for more than a generation or two.
So now they're all criminals.
Not necessarily.
Because if they got to go register that shit or something.
Grandfathering. No, if the gun existed previous to the law doesn't currently apply to it until after it changes hands in a sale.
I got you.
So it's grandfathered in. Whatever registration existed beforehand still applies. Now, inheriting it does not count as a sale. That does not necessarily count as a transfer of ownership. It does in some states under certain circumstances, but typically when you transfer ownership, it involves the exchange of goods, services, or money.
No, they got to find a way for me to give something to my son if they're trying to tax me every fucking place.
Don't get me started on taxes, son.
I just saw a guy shoot 2 boars from I don't know if it was a blind or something. But it looked like he was sitting somewhere and the first one dropped so fast, and I guess it's quiet enough where the second one didn't run. Some did, the rest did, but the second one stayed there, and he got 2 of them. They got a feeder out there?
And they're a damn sight faster than you think. If you think that because it's propelled by air that it is less deadly than a firearm, you are stark raving that shit crazy.
I was looking at some of the speeds yesterday, day before. It's right up there with shotguns and shit.
Yeah.
So, and then if you're hitting slugs like that, oh my God.
And drop them in their own shadow.
Yeah, right.
Yeah. It baffled me so much. I got blocked on the channel that I first noticed it on because I misunderstood what it was about and they thought I was trolling.
Yeah.
I thought it was a hunting channel. I didn't realize these people were hunting with air rifles. And when I did, I was so flummoxed by it that I guess I pissed them off asking questions.
I thank God I was on a panel with a guy who was doing the show because he was very tolerant. And you know me well enough to know now it was like bullshit. It ain't even possible. Bullshit,
Right,
prove it.
All of me.
You know, I was talking all that shit out loud. Rabbit ain't good enough. I want to see him kill something bigger. And he was patient as fuck. He like, no, I'm telling you, killing moose with these things. So get the
Yes.
fuck out of here. But he was
I didn't
right
believe
on
it.
every case.
Home cuz when I first showed up, there was one of the guys in chat, and he had given me he had popped a link, was like, check this channel out if you don't believe it. And I was like, okay. Which I knew air rifles were powerful, and I knew that there were people who did it, but I thought they did it as like a gimmick or just trying to, like you said, circumvent some shit in some other state. I didn't realize there were just clubs that do this. There's clubs around here that do this. I just didn't know.
Is that an air rifle?
It is, yeah.
You know, I just got one of those about like a month ago, magnet fishing.
Wait, you
I swear to
magnet
God.
fish first of all, and you found
Yes,
an
I
air
magnet
rifle
fished.
magnet fishing? That sounds like a win-win.
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
He also does
What?
paranormal stuff.
Oh man.
Not watching.
Mhm.
I haven't found
Okay,
anything yet. I won't try at least once.
Wait. You do paranormal shit. You ever had any interesting results?
What?
If you do paranormal shit, have you ever
Oh,
had anything interesting, any interesting results?
Yeah. I have video. I'm editing. I'm not editing. I'm going through to see if there's any other. I have one that has a visual. You can visually see stuff going on, and then I have another video that is just audio.
Any
That's a
EVPs?
separate location. No, not yet.
Hey,
Okay.
Dan.
What's on the video?
No,
What's on the
you should,
video?
brother.
You say something's on the video. What's on
On
there?
the video, I am using they're known as cat balls. They light up when they're motion activated.
Oh yeah, I've seen them. Yeah.
Right. So I have video of that being seen to be used, however you want to say it.
Right. And audio, what's on the audio? I think you said something on audio.
I'm not going to tell you because then he's going to want
Sex,
to
moaning. Yeah, tell the truth.
No, noises that are not. There's no reason for that kind of noise at that moment.
I've seen Forrest Gump. I know what it's all about.
The Hippie does that shit good. What does Hippie be saying? What my God? Oh, what the Hippie be saying? He be saying something that's really funny. Oh yeah, something like that.
Look like Bubba Ray Dudley. Okay. Maybe so. Oh Lord. You ever heard of Jerry Clower?
I have not. No.
All right. So Jerry Clower was something of a local legend. He lived not too terrible far away from here, and he made a whole bunch of comedy records back in the 70s and 80s. Old wax LPs and stuff, like the old vinyls.
Yeah.
You know, like Richard Pryor used to do.
Yeah,
you ever get wild hair up your ass and you want to know where I get my sense of humor from? Go check you out some Jerry Clower.
Who?
Oh,
let me write this down.
Tell you, son. You'll find a whole bunch of my Speaking Indians found in that album. Those albums. Like cow pissing on a flat rock. Or
okay.
It's raining. It starts raining and it's just raining.
There with you, Joe Cool. On there.
And it rains really, really hard. It's raining like a cow pissing on a flat rock. Okay. Also, there's a few other ones.
I think he and I, however you say it, are like so stoned we don't even care.
Oh yeah, no, I'm
laughing.
Down. Yeah, giggling. It'll make the show appear as if it's going according to plan. Nobody will ever know the difference, unless I tell them.
I know, right?
I got 330s, 30% buds. Besides the one they gave me, the free one they gave me today was in the teens. It was lame, but yeah, I'm smoking like really good. I want to eat dinner, but when I smoke, I lose my appetite. So I'm gonna have to stop smoking so I can eat. Man.
Hey, I can't sleep when I'm smoking. I smoke some weed.
Wow.
I know it's
Smoke
weird.
that
Like
indica, Joe. Some of that indica
nah,
knock
dude,
you
you
out
don't
in
get it.
20 minutes.
No. Listen, when I first started smoking weed, like 20 years ago, 25 years ago, whenever it was, one of the very first things that happened, I got really high and took a small 2-stroke engine apart.
Yeah.
And then I got really high and put it back together. And my pops beat the flying hell out of me. Not because I got high, because I took his engine apart. And then he got mad because it run when he cranked it up.
Wow.
I had never worked on a 2-stroke engine in my life. I simply took it all the way apart, looked at all the parts, that's neat, and put it back together.
All right.
I did that shit all night.
I got you. I'm the same way. I used to take apart electronics and shit in the crib.
Yeah, but you smoking crack? I mean, like most people start taking it apart, they smoking crack or meth or something, you know?
No, I would read manuals and schematics and shit. Yeah, I was a knucklehead.
I can read manuals too. Most people can't do that.
Yeah. I mean, I thought it was interesting. When I'm opening them and repairing them and shit, there's usually a logic behind it. If you read the manual, it'll give you a clue into what direction to go, what the person was thinking.
Yeah.
If it's logical.
Instructions instead of directions. They're directions on how to destruct it. So they're destructions.
Right.
So I don't know what to tell you. My wife gets damn driven nuts by me sometimes, especially when I got to put something together, because I take the instructions out, chunk them over my shoulder, and go take a look at those and tell me what I do wrong, and I'll put it together.
I only read the instructions if I get somewhere where I'm fucked up, but normally logic will get you there. Shit, might have a couple screws left over, but I'll get there.
Yeah, we'll get there. It'll work. Trust me, it'll work.
Right.
Oh, there. All right. Well, we pulled down 2 hours over here on live. I'm gonna shut the whole stream down. We're gonna chit chat backstage for a minute. You can let your inner freak flag fly. So I'm gonna take over the show for a second and play us out in the only way I know how. I have this thing, and it's the only thing I do.
This thing.
It's this thing.
This is my gift to Sasquatch, and also to myself.
Because
when
he's greedy,
Sasquatch signs off,
for himself.
He always says, "So here you go, mate. There's nothing left for me to do, really."
Thanks, Richie.
But this
is great.
Fuck this shit, I'm out. Fuck this shit, I'm out.
All right, so we're going to be doing this every Tuesday. The general concept is going to be homelessness, mental health, and addiction. In that order. The format's kind of fluid. We're going to work with it. So I appreciate everybody coming by, and it's much love for everybody. Deuces. Yeah.